All right. In 3, 2, 1. Well, welcome back, everybody. It is another episode, another edition of the Chicago 60 podcast. I am your... I'm sorry?
We've been gone for a while.
We have been gone for a couple of weeks because I was moving. I moved to another location. We're in another spot. So there it is. And so now we're back. We finally picked it up. We're doing some makeshift maneuvering. You can't see exactly what's going on here, but let's just say some items are lacking in the new apartment. I need to buy some furniture. But we're gonna be celebrating this podcast, and we're gonna be drinking from our favorite Wisconsin counterpart, New Glarus. They are not sponsoring this, but boy, that would be fine with us, even though we're a podcast based in Chicago. We don't care that we're fibs. We wear that crown proudly. But okay, cheers to that. Charlie Barons, cheers to you, pal. Okay. Anyway, we are back with another episode of the Chicago 60 podcast. I am your illustrious host, of course, Justin J. Warren. Next to me is our another illustrious co-host.
It's Norm.
Stormin Norman. Manny is not here in the booth with us this week. He will be back next week, and we have a lot more exciting stuff coming. But this week on the podcast, we are going to talk about how Fairlife and their milk practices are going into, they're having some issues, lawsuits happening about your milk.
It is the third year of Chicago's Pokemon Go Fest, and we will talk about how everyone tried to catch them all.
Yes, and of course the Women's World Cup is going on. Does anyone care? We'll talk about it here.
And managers try to deal with the Me Too movement and how to operate in 2019. We'll talk about that.
All of that and a little bit more on this episode of the Chicago 60 podcast. And, of course, the Jagoff of the week. Norm, it is now time for the podcast. Alrighty then. So, Norm, let's start out with some quick stories here. And let's do, you know what, I'd like to take us back to and have a little bit of a history lesson. Let's go back.
Oh, yes.
Let's go back and let's go to our favorite subject of all time, history.
History.
The subject everyone loves. Their favorite topic. Oh, and of course, folks, cheers to the podcast.
Oh, cheers to the podcast.
And our friends at New Glarus. We can only get this in Wisconsin.
Only in
We
Wisconsin.
stole it from Wisconsin.
Only the best.
That's right. You got to steal the poison of the enemies to get their power.
It's good poison.
It's very good poison. It's very delicious.
Yeah.
If you're not drinking, you're doing something wrong, folks. Or again, your choice. You don't have to drink, but we like drinking.
We do.
Yeah. It's the one thing we have in common with Wisconsinites.
We really do, yeah.
Yeah.
That'll bring us all together is alcohol.
That's right. Alcohol saves lives or destroys them. One or the other. But it brings people together.
Yeah.
Yeah. In some cases, brings the wrong sorts of people together.
Wrong sorts of people together.
Then shit goes cray. But let's not talk about that. What we're really doing is going back into history.
Back into history.
Into the olden times. Back there when Chicago was just a wee city on the outskirts of the premise of Lake Michigan, and they were there just trying to grow themselves into a prosperous city on the lake.
Like the 50s?
The 1850s, my friend. That's what we're going back.
Like this old man is here today.
Yes. I'm so old that I died 100 years ago.
And then came back to tell us stories.
That's right. I'm the ghost of an old man from the 1850s. Yes, and so I want to talk to you about the 19th Amendment, which was actually in the 1900s. So he's really knowledgeable, this old guy.
He really knows this stuff.
Yeah, he really does. So Illinois actually just celebrated the centennial of the 19th Amendment, which happened June 10th. Yes. So actually, Illinois was known for being quite a progressive state back in the old 1850s. Those damn women. No, they want rights. That's crazy. But everybody else in this state scored it. I don't get it. What's going on? the right to vote? That's crazy. I'm not going to let my old lady tell me that's ridiculous. She doesn't even know 2 plus 2.
To you, old man?
She milks the cow pretty good, but doesn't... I don't know where I'm going with that. That's just... right. Yeah, but actually, so Illinois was one of the more progressive states.
Yeah.
And continues to be one of the more progressive states, which we'll talk about a little bit later, not on this podcast, but moving forward over the next few episodes, we've got a lot of interesting topics of how Illinois is very progressive. A couple of new laws that were just passed by the Illinois State Legislature, but we will get into those on subsequent episodes. But for the 19th Amendment, it was celebrated here in Illinois, and Illinois was very interesting in that it was one of the first states that allowed women for example, in 1873, women were allowed to run for school offices that were not created by the Constitution, which is a caveat that was mentioned in the Tribune. I don't entirely know what that means, but basically, any positions that were created on a local level, it seems like, women were able to actually run for those and actually serve on, public office positions for school offices, which was quite interesting. And in 1913, Governor Edward Dunn. Oh, good old Ed Dunn. I remember him. I remember them jokes when he said, hey, you know what Ed Dunn does? He gets it done.
He gets it
done. Good old Ed Dunn gets it done. That was his campaign slogan. Back in 1913.
It really is Father's Day for you with the Cordy. Ed Dunn gets it done.
Got to get them dad jokes in there. Old Ed Dunn gets it done. And he got it done for the ladies, which is not as sexual as I meant that to sound. But he signed a law making Illinois the first state east of the Mississippi to grant women the right to vote. Only for local offices, not national offices, because the 19th Amendment had not been passed at that time for women to vote. But Illinois was a state that actually let women vote. It was one of the first states to let women vote for local offices, governor, mayor, stuff like that.
Important shit, yeah.
Yeah, still very important stuff. So that's, I did not know that. That was a very interesting thing to learn about. Thank you, Chicago Tribune. Also, Illinois beat out those bastards in Wisconsin and those Wolverines in Chicago. Those Wolverines in Chicago? Those Wolverines in Michigan, being the first state to ratify the 19th Amendment. So, yay.
Up and up.
Go Illinois. See, we like women. Yay, women. Cheers to women. Okay, so I just thought that was a very interesting story. A little bit of history.
Yeah.
Illinois, where we do things. Not always the best way, but we get it done.
We get it done.
Especially if it was by Governor Ed Dunn.
We got Ed Dunn.
Ed Dunn. Ed's done.
Yeah, we got Ed Dunn.
Because Dunn is dead, so he's done.
Dunn is done.
Yeah, he died a while ago. Yeah.
Dunn died, so he's done.
But there was a big celebration, and
Cool.
there was a lot of people celebrating the 9th Amendment. A lot of women were out there, cheering, woo, gee, woo, yay, we vote. So, good for you, women. You're a very important part of the electoral process. Women is a big vote to go after, and it's very segmented. Not all women think alike. They have their own interests.
But then, the fact that our state was willing to understand that every person needed to vote. Generally every state understood that eventually.
Right.
Every state understood that every human being should have the ability to vote
yes.
and the right to do so. But look at Illinois go, being like, you know what, by the way, we do have a lot of women here. Mm-hmm. We should probably let them vote for some shit.
Yeah.
Because, I personally want to win.
Yeah. That's right.
And, I know a few extra women, so.
Yeah. So, good for you. Good for us.
Good
Illinois
for us.
And Chicago. Yeah. Fantastic stuff. Moving right along in other news. In other news. So, Chicago may actually get a $15 minimum wage ahead of schedule.
What? What?
Yes.
What?
What? Oh, it ended once I did it. Okay. Interesting. Fantastic. Yeah, so one of the South Side aldermen, Sophia King of the 4th Ward, So I love how we call it a ward. It
everyone should do it that way, though.
Right? It's like a Game of Thrones thing.
Every time someone introduces someone from a ward, they should like Sophia.
It's Sophia King of
from
the
4th ward.
From the 4th ward.
Like I think that would make it kind of better.
John Dilly Dally from the 29th ward. It's just so.
I mean, it still works though.
It does. Ruben Brittabacker from the 16th ward. I don't know who these people are, but they sound important when they're coming from a ward.
Oh, do Dunn.
Dunn. Edward Dunn from the 100th ward.
I feel like if you added Sir or...
Sir Edward Dunn?
Yes.
Sir Edward Dunn of the 95th ward.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it's badass is what it is.
Dunn would be happy.
I feel like dragons are going to fly overhead in a few moments.
Dunn would be very happy.
Someone's going to get their head chopped off for being
like, it's not a laughing matter. You know what? I like that, though. Keep going that.
Yes. Well, anyway, Sophia King of the 4th ward is proposing a bill in City Council to, move the $15 minimum wage up a few years by about 4. Because it's supposed to pass or go into effect for the entire state in like 4 years. Mm-hmm. But she's like, no.
We need it now.
We need it now because people need money in order to survive in this damn city because it's too damn expensive in Chicago. What in the Sam Hill? What in the peanut butter and jelly? Who are these kibbles and bits? Petco versus PetSmart, damn it. I don't know, I'm making up.
I don't know, yeah, I see that.
I'm just trying. It's a battle royale between PetSmart and Petco.
And kibbles and bits. Kibbles is on the left, Bits is on the right, Kibbles is on the ropes. He's not sure what he's going to do.
In this corner, and in this corner. Yeah, so I find that very interesting. So we'll see how that progresses, but could be good. I mean, I am a fiscal conservative, so minimum wage.
Is there a bad side to it?
Yeah, the bad side is that they are worried people are going to lose their jobs.
Okay.
Hence my mention I'm a fiscal conservative.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Because it's like, that already happened in New York with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and her coffee shop who basically went bankrupt because they couldn't afford the minimum wage.
Well, I mean, they were talking about the issue with like McDonald's where they were saying, okay, we'll raise up the minimum wage, but then we'll also get kiosks. So then we don't hire.
That is
people.
correct. That is correct. We spoke about that on an earlier episode. McDonald's is like, we'll do the $15 minimum wage. Enjoy ordering at a kiosk.
And I'm not gonna lie.
We're not paying at $15 an hour.
I'm not gonna lie. That kiosk is actually really nice because I don't have to talk to anyone.
Right.
So I know it's human error. It's wrong to say, and I really want people deserve $15 an hour.
Yes.
But if I don't have to talk to someone, I won't.
Yeah. I mean, because, fuck people.
Unfortunately, yeah. But no, it's a good thing.
No,
I
it's
hope
a good
that
thing.
it stays that way.
We'll see how it goes. I mean, I have thoughts, but overall it's good. Like, it is expensive. I mean, it's not as bad as San Francisco or New York, for goodness sakes.
No.
I mean, you got literally people in San Francisco in tents just chilling because they're not even homeless. They're just, they actually have jobs. They just literally... They just can't afford to live in the damn city.
Living in their cars,
ridiculous.
And going to work.
Shitting on the streets.
Figuring it out,
Ridiculous. So, I mean, $15. I mean, it's been approved in other states and whatnot. So, I mean, if it goes in a little bit earlier, we'll see how it goes. Yeah. But I do anticipate a lot more kiosks in those.
Yeah, a lot of kiosks.
Yup. So, we'll see how that goes. But moving right along in other news. Going along with the $15 minimum wage, Norm, our new African-American gay mayor, Lori Lightfoot, and we mention that because it's historic in nature.
Not
like Ed Dunn.
It's historic. Just like Sir Ed Dunn.
We won't keep mentioning it, but it's still
After a while,
fresh.
we'll stop mentioning it.
It's very fresh, like Tony's important. Fresh Markets.
It's still important.
You gotta use those fresh stories. So our wonderful new mayor, Lori Lightfoot, I assume she's wonderful and nice. She seems...
So far.
I assume. I have not met her.
So far.
I'm down to meet you, Lori.
That'd be nice.
If you want to have us... We'll do an interview.
We will.
We'll do it about this topic because she says, quote, there is no question, unquote, that city residents will need to pay more in taxes or fees to deal with a $700 million shortfall that we have. So, yeah.
No question.
There is no question. So, guess what, folks? That means there's gonna be some more taxes. Yes, sir. They got them taxes coming, and they're gonna make you an offer that you cannot refuse because it's taxes, and you can't refuse them. You gotta pay them, or else the government's gonna come and put a gun to your head and say, "Hey, pay your taxes." So that is legitimately what it is. It is basically forcible.
I mean, it really is. You just gotta put it out there at a point where I'm like, oh my god, they kind of do put a gun to your head and force you to pay. Taxes.
Right. I mean, like, nobody actually physically points a gun at you and says, pay your damn taxes. But I mean, they do it in other very harmful ways. Like, you know,
in the legitimate
closing your bank accounts, right? And just taking money.
Actually harmful ways.
Not allowing you to get unemployment anywhere else. Black marking you in your record for future employment opportunities.
Like, they don't put a gun to your head, they just kind of prick you with a pin over and over again while you sleep.
Putting very passive-aggressive notes in your mailbox.
Let you get slightly infected and then die.
Wouldn't it be nice if you could afford that car loan? Damn it, IRS. Damn you with your passive-aggressiveness.
Like someone is speaking from experience.
Yes. Yeah. No, I've never been audited. Yet.
None of us have. Yet.
Anyway, I just find it that I just love how she's already using language that's like definitive. There is no question.
No question.
I would like there to be a question. I would like there to be a question.
I hate it when politicians do that because it's like you realize it's going to be replayed later on.
Yeah, it's not good for future campaigning.
Exactly.
It's like, you know. Well, we'll see where it goes, but expect your taxes to go up there, folks.
Yeah.
I just came back from Wisconsin for a wedding, and oh my god, I mean, just in gas taxes alone. So here in this, I literally paid 60 cents less in the burbs compared to in the city. I mean, 60-cent difference. That is ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and yet we need more taxes. So
we need more.
We're gonna need more taxes, and then they're gonna fiddle away all that money, and then we're gonna need more taxes.
Yeah, and more taxes.
And then more taxes.
And then more taxes.
You know what? Shit, bring back the soda tax, because fuck it. You know?
We don't need fat kids.
Yeah,
bring back the soda tax. Because it's for the kids.
Get rid of individual rights, folks.
It's
tax
for the
everything.
kids, okay? Don't think that it wasn't for the kids. It's for the children and taxing the shit out of every human being in Chicago. Like, so just,
Exactly, yeah. Well, moving right along in other news. Another quick story that I found very interesting from one Chicago Tribune. Again, not one of our sponsors on Chicago 60, but if they would love to sponsor us, Chicago Tribune, we promote your stories all the time because you tell it kind of how it is. So that's always good.
All the time.
Yeah. No, the Tribune does some fairly decent reporting.
I will say, Trib, if you're there, Trib, there are a lot of crime stories on your website. No offense, but there are happier shit that does go on in Chicago. Stop scaring people. It's important to know. But
we already know that people are shooting people.
Yeah, it's kind of a given.
You've literally told us about it so much, no one cares anymore.
It's just like the sun comes out. You know, it's like, kind of a daily thing, so we understand it.
Yeah, it's like the sun comes out, people died.
Yeah.
Cool.
That sucks. Don't get me wrong. It's a horrible thing.
Yeah, it's not good.
But it doesn't have to be on your front page all the time.
Right.
Just throwing that out there. Thanks.
5 dead in the South Side. It's like, isn't there anything interesting to read about?
Every single weekend.
Dead people? Ugh. You know?
Like,
that should not be the reaction.
Like, at least, give me something a little bit joyous first before I slip into the horror part and the fear part of Chicago.
That'd be nice. Sneak it into, like, page 6.
Yeah.
You know? Give us a little glimmer of hope.
Yeah.
You know, pretend we're the rebellion in Star Wars. Let us slip out the back of the cave with the weird diamond foxes. You know? And then just have Kylo Ren there to wipe us all out with the dead. Instead of Rey, it's Kylo Ren with his weird light sword.
It's not a light sword, it's a legitimate lightsaber.
It is a legitimate light sword.
Like, I mean, well, yeah, I guess so.
It's a sword.
But you call it a weird light sword, look at that, look at the issue.
Yeah.
Thing's badass.
Like, Rey has a lightsaber, and he's got a light sword.
Yeah,
like, I don't know, I mean, I would feel like he would accidentally cut himself with that
No, because he uses the Force.
So he always just misses him?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's
yeah, I know he uses the
I
Force.
feel like the Force would
And he's once. Like this big, so...
Alright.
We're not going to get into that topic.
We'll move on. And we have moving right along in other news. So Norm, this is what I found interesting is that the first automated car test had just happened. So there's a local Chicago firm that I used to call on as a sales guy back in the olden days.
Back in the
days, it's our friend, the old guy. Here Technologies. Hey, we're here and we're Technologies. We're here, Technologies. We're just here for you, but we use Technologies. They're actually a mapping software, or a mapping software company. So they're kind of like what Google does with mapping around everything. That they are part of that vein of industry. And if anybody watches and is actually from there, and I'm wrong, you can correct me, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Anyway. They were working with a couple of other organizations, and they put out this automated car, and they put it out on I-90 and tested it out, and it worked.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a driver, but they basically all the driver had to do was brake and accelerate, and then the steering wheel did its thing, man. Okay. So that's kind of interesting.
So can I say my favorite thing about the automated car test and the videos that go with the automated car test is always someone in the seat, and they're like, "Okay, guys. Look, I'm doing it." Yeah. The car's driving by itself, and they always have their hands up, like they're like,
yes.
"Look, it's impossible to do, but it's doing it right now."
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
it's like when you're riding a bicycle and you're like, "Look, no hands."
Yeah, they're very like, look at this, but they're also just like, if I have to touch this wheel to keep us from dying, I will.
I will, yeah.
Or they'll like keep their hands down here, like, look, it's great, and like you realize half the time I'll be driving with like my finger just down here, just like, yeah, no, this is safety. Like, but they're just like, anytime I need to touch this wheel, I will touch it. But guys, the car's driving itself. Look.
Yeah. You need that. You need just like when you're riding a bike, you need the person on the back with the two pegs.
Yeah.
To be like, would you put your hands on the damn steering? Look, I might die.
I'm counterbalancing right here.
Sorry, what?
But that's awesome. That's good.
The future is coming, man.
I would love to get to a point where I don't have to drive.
That would be super sweet. One day we're all gonna be like Will Smith and iRobot, and the cars are just gonna take us places.
That didn't work out too well though.
Not for him, no.
Yeah,
he survived.
That car crash scene was kind of dark.
Yeah, it was not great. Well, moving right along. Big festival happened.
Oh yes. So this weekend, actually it was Thursday through today, Sunday, Pokemon Go Fest.
Pokemon Go.
Exactly, but less with them, more with us. Chicago. This is our third year of doing it, and the first year they had an epic meltdown of the shittiest proportions. They had thousands and thousands of people come, especially at the hype of Pokemon Go, come to Chicago, and the cell towers were fucked up. They weren't expecting to handle this much cell service, so things shut down, and people were pissed. People came from all over the country just to play Pokemon Go, and it fucked up. And then second year they came back, and it was great. Things started to kind of operate. They learned from their last lessons. They figured some things out. Still, a few things went wrong, but just like any festival where you have tons of cell phone users, and that's the main base of the program, is the cell phones and having the cell towers and then operating in such a major city. But they did it. It worked out well. Third year, this year, they held it back in Grant Park. They had moved, I think, to Lincoln Park last year, and this time they held it back in Grant Park again this year. It was back from the first year, and thousands and thousands upon people came, and it rained on Saturday. And
beautiful.
When it rained, there was lightning, and not even the company itself, but the city of Chicago shut the shit down until the storm moved. They actually told them to stop. They told Niantic to stop, to get people into a safer place until the storm moved over. And this year, apparently, there were still tons of people pissed because it stopped for about 2 hours. But Niantic was on their game, and they credited a bunch of people with a bunch of stuff, which they usually do when shit goes wrong, because they can do that. and they alerted people in time, ahead of time. They kind of informed them, a couple hours before. I think 2 hours before it was going to start again, they already knew the time that it would restart. So they informed people, and they kind of just were on the ball with their shit. It seemed like it's been a great turnout. I will say a lot of old people have no clue what's going on in the area, and they're trying to figure out why there's all these people.
Bunch of rapscallions
walking around in Charizard hoodies and Pikachu and
confirmed kids with their Charizard sweaters.
Right? But someone even said it's like a 4-day Pokemon party, you know? They're all just there. Now, I was telling people, I was like, you know, it's probably the best thing for Chicago. I choose you, Pikachu. Like, it's the greatest thing for Chicago because you have thousands of people coming into the city. They're all going to spend money. They're all here for about 4 days, so they're all going to spread out. Most of them are staying either further north or further, somewhere in the city. And then, to be honest, in the city, when you have thousands of people just playing Pokemon games, it's probably going to be a safer area to walk. Like, there's so many people.
Ain't nobody playing Pokemon Go going to be robbing nobody.
No. And so many, like, screens and computers and stuff like that. They're like, okay, make sure you pay attention. But, you have to realize most of these Pokemon Go people are walking in packs.
Yeah.
So,
which is hilarious. The new gangs of Chicago are Pokemon.
You gotta
Go
watch
people.
out for them.
They're vicious with their ball throwing.
I mean, if someone threw a ball at you,
I would love it for it to actually be real Pokeballs.
Right, a real Pokeball,
just like Pokeballs everywhere. Just another big litter problem.
just balls left everywhere. You're just kicking goddamn Pokeballs everywhere.
Damn kids. They're Pokeballs.
I just don't understand.
They're Pokeballs.
But yeah, Pokemon Go Fest.
Yeah. There you go.
I
remember when they fucked up the first time and they gave everybody Mewtwo's. It's like, well, that defeats the point.
Yeah.
Like, wow, you all got like the most powerful Pokemon ever because we give them something
Surprisingly,
else.
It isn't anymore.
Give them like an Onix or something.
It really isn't the most powerful Pokemon anymore.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Dave? Well, I mean, when you're a business and you got to make up shit, you can make other powerful things. Like, this is a pickle, and it's the strongest pickle you've ever had. Yeah. Like, I mean, hey, that's what I do.
Well, good old Pokemon. I know, I find it crazy people are still playing it, but it's a thing.
Yeah.
That continues to happen. So God bless them.
America and Pokemon.
Yes. All right, well, moving right along. In other news, we're going to jump to the wonderful, from one thing that could be considered a sport, although I don't know how, we'll move to actual sports, Norm, for the Cubs. The Cubs. Okay, we got a story here about the Cubs there, Norm, okay? The Cubs got a new, one of the best relief pitchers in the whole Major League of Baseball, okay? And where the hell is his name? There it is. Okay, so Theo Epstein pulled like a Ryan Pace from the Bears. And he got this guy, Craig Kimbrell. We got Craig Kimbrell. This guy, he throws the baseball, he throws it like he's skipping a stone. It's with a baseball.
He like curves the bullet.
He throws weird, like he throws it around. It's like he's trying to skip a stone, but he's throwing a baseball. Okay. So this guy, he's like one of the best people who know a lot more about Sparks than I do. Are saying that this move is similar to when Ryan Pace of the Bears got Khalil Mack from the Raiders. This move made the Cubs a lot better. They're winning. Okay, they're only half game. Last time I looked at the standings, they're only a half game behind those bastard Milwaukee Brewers. It's a shocker that people in Milwaukee are Brewers. They're all a bunch of drunks. Fucking jamokes, okay? And so it's a big move.
Okay, so
it should make the Cubs a lot better.
I gotta ask this. How many pitchers does the Cubs have?
Okay. So
you just got into a real conversation. Okay, wait, let me break it down for you.
Well, with my amazing knowledge of baseball, there's a lot of people. Okay, there's a lot of pitchers.
Every time I look, I'll look up at the screen,
12 or 15
and then the pitcher will change. and I won't be aware of it. And 1 minute it'll be like this
Hey,
one
wait a
black
minute, what
guy,
happened to the black guy?
and then a black guy will pop up, then it'll disappear. And I'm like, whoa, what's going
Did
on?
the black guy metamorphosis into a white guy?
Like, what if that was his? Like, it just changes.
Is this a Doctor Who moment? Did he just metamorphosize?
It's like, I'm like, how many
What's
pitchers
going
does
on
the
here?
Cubs fucking have?
Yeah, there's a lot of pitchers on each baseball team, man. There's a lot of bullpen pitchers.
Is this
and
like
relievers, and then you got your minimum 4 to 5 starting pitchers. So there's usually like at least 12 to 15 pitchers on every.
that's like half the fucking dugout.
Pretty much. Well, they are always in their own separate area.
Oh, really?
The dugout is mostly for like the on-field players, and then pitchers once they are done. So then the pitchers go hang out in the bullpen.
But
everybody else is in, pretty much.
I didn't know this.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So there's a veil there.
Oh, yeah.
You don't see the real.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Yes, sir. It's cray. So it's an interesting thing going on. But this guy, Craig Kimbrell, I mean, this is a lot of Chicago sports reporters were saying this is a great move. I actually saw him pitch a couple times. The guy's good. So this made the Cubs instant World Series contenders again. I think that's pretty much they're likening it to Ryan Pace getting Khalil Mack from the Raiders over to the Bears, and I mean that move in itself made the Bears the number 1 defense last year. We're the number 1 defense ranked prematurely this year, and we're Super Bowl contenders basically because of all the moves that have been made, and Khalil Mack being that, and now pretty much are saying the same thing. So, hey, you Cubby fans, we got a guy, and you know the World Series is coming. We just gotta beat those bastard Brewers. Fuck those guys up there in Wisconsin. That's why we're drinking their poison, so that we can get their.
We like beer though, so we don't want the Brewers to go anywhere. We just want them to keep brewing.
We just want the baseball Brewers to go away.
Yes, baseball Brewers.
Not actual brewers.
Brewers stay.
We like people who make beer.
We love people who make beer.
Another quick sports story, moving right along in utter news. The Women's World Cup is going on.
Yeah.
Go America! USA!
I saw it. Yeah, they were playing it on a big screen in Wrigley Field.
Yeah.
It kind of surprised me because
for all 5 people.
Actually, there were a ton of people there.
Yeah.
Well, because it was a nice day and nice to be outside.
Right. Otherwise, people would be at home not watching.
Pretty much.
It's just like, there's a thing to do.
Yeah.
Let's go watch the Women's World Cup in Wrigley.
But I mean, it looked hype. I mean, for one, Wrigley's got this huge screen and they're just blasting it, and I'm kind of like, is there a fight happening?
Yes.
Like, I can't tell what's happening. But yeah, Women's World Cup.
Women's World Cup. Yeah, they beat Thailand 7-0. That's the soccer term. I'm a soccer guy, and which is to be expected. I mean, Thailand 7-0. Yeah.
Okay.
And then they're playing a bunch of other podunk teams. I don't even know who's in their group. This is I mean, look, this is kind of how it is, right? Like the Women's World Cup. Like I really won't. It's kind of like It's kind of like how I feel about baseball. I don't really care a whole lot about the regular season until it gets to the playoffs. And if the Cubs in the or the Sox are in there, right, I'm 100% in. I'll watch every game, right? But there's 165 baseball games. I can't. It's too much.
I can't do that.
It's the same way with Women's World Cup soccer. I don't care about the group stage games because the USA is obviously going to make it. Mm-hmm. We're the number 1 team. We're defending the World Cup. It's like, I really don't give a shit until like the quarterfinals. So then it's like, all right, it's worth. There's something at stake here.
Yeah.
I'll watch it. We're
not just playing to be on TV.
If we play Brazil or France or something, like, okay, there's something going on. I'll watch. USA. There's some Chicago people on the team. I'm pretty sure. I don't know who they are. I don't care. But it's just the way it is. The women's national team lost to like 2 under 15 boys teams. Like, by a lot. Like, the Australian women's national team in Australia, they lost to, like, an under-15 boys team, like, 6-2. It's just like, I don't see any man's team losing to an under-15 boys team. You know what I'm saying? It's just like,
Maybe
that's why Serena Williams is like, you know what? No, I'm the best woman. We'll just leave it at that. I'm good with that title. I'm not going to beat Rafael Nadal or, Djokovic. Or any of those clowns. I don't know. This is how I feel. I mean, I want the USA to win.
Yeah.
Obviously, and I love women. So that's two things that are going for it, right? But it's just like, in terms of entertainment value, it's like,
you don't care until it's like prime time.
Yeah,
Everyone's got
prime
something
time.
at stake. This is
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Win or lose.
Because like
we'll play the game.
unlike the U.S. men's national team, where I'm actually worried if they make it out of the group stage, I'm not worried about the U.S. women's national team making it out.
Yeah.
Because all the other, like literally no other countries around the world give a fucking shit about women's soccer.
Yeah.
Like they just, so none of them are that good.
Yeah.
Like even the ones that are like second, third, fourth, like France, they're saying might be like, really? No, I'm not worried. USA has so much more money invested. It's like, we're gonna make it to the finals.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really worried about it.
That is crazy though, that like women in sports in the U.S., like it's still kind of underrated, but we, compared to a lot of countries, our underration of like women's sports is still higher than everybody else's.
Way higher than everybody else.
Like
unbelievably higher.
Like they should definitely get paid just the same amount as men, but we definitely.
Well,
I definitely think so. I think everyone should get paid equally, only because women do. It's still a sport. It's still a sport making tons of money for wealthy men. Like,
not true.
No?
And that's incorrect.
How is that?
Yeah.
How?
The woman, so there's a statistic that I heard. I don't know where the source is, so we'll take this for a grain of salt.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure it's from FIFA. That wonderful organization, FIFA.
FIFA.
But the World Cup in South Africa made something like $4 billion, or 4 or 40 billion. I think it's 4. But like either way, billion with a B.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of total revenue, the Women's World Cup made $73 million.
That's a ton of money, though.
Yeah, but to then say that, I don't know. I just feel
I
like
didn't say equal. I said they're still making a ton of money for wealthy men.
it's not as much as.
I mean,
men.
no, I'm not saying that they're the same.
I have no problem with women making equal pay for the same job, but if there's also, I guess it just depends on if I guess it comes down to your belief of, do you also believe in a meritocratic system where you get more based on how much you produce? That's really what the issue is.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing, like the women at the company that I work for get paid about the same as anybody, you know. When I was working in sales, I know because I spoke to female coworkers, they were making more in base salary than I was making, actually, you know, which I found shocking, to be quite honest. I was like, oh, good for you, you know. But so I know like that exists on a plane, but in a field like entertainment, I think it is definitely more meritocratic in the sense of if you can produce more revenue, you should get paid more. I think that's kind of how I feel about it at that point.
But what about, because, you know, I don't watch soccer, period.
Which is funny.
So, I don't watch soccer, period.
You rapscallion bastard.
But I do say, I think women's sports as a whole, the nice part about it is that even though, yes, they are still under what we consider male-dominated sports, we still hold them up more than any other country, in my opinion.
True.
And we still tout them. I mean, we promote them just as much. I think we should promote them more. But, I mean, I think we should do a lot of things differently. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I have no problem with women making the same amount of money as a man for jobs that require the same level of work involved. Mm-hmm. Entertainment is just a little different. Like you just get you get paid, like it's just like we're comedians, right? Let's say we were out. If we were to go on stage right now, we would probably not make as much as some female comics or comedians because they can draw a larger audience than we can. So they're gonna make a lot more money than us. But if we get super freaking famous and we're selling out, 10,000 seat stadiums, and a female's only selling like a 3,000 seat stadium, it's just like that's the nature of the entertainment industry in general.
But my question is, are they getting paid up to where the
that I don't know.
Exactly, the equal.
Are they getting the max that they should be
exactly
for what they are bringing?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes,
that is the thing I don't know. And if the answer is no, then yes, they should.
I think that's the first step.
That is then absolutely 100%. I would agree.
Yes.
They should. But the only thing is that women's soccer has tried to make a league in the U.S. just like the MLS, and the MLS is actually doing fairly well right now. Like they're finally, like soccer is growing, and the MLS is doing fairly well. Huh?
Who likes soccer?
People in America.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
didn't
it's
know that.
like soccer is still the number one sport all kids are playing.
I didn't know people cared about soccer.
Yeah, actually, they're coming out with like new teams every year now. Like David Beckham and LeBron James are trying to build a team in Miami right now.
Who's David Beckham?
The like number one, like most notorious known soccer guy.
Never heard of
from
him.
England.
Never heard of him.
Married the Posh Spice chick.
I know her. I don't know who this David Beckham guy is.
Alright, well, I don't know what to tell you then. He's pretty fucking
he's
infamous.
bending like Beckham.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, exactly. Yes. There you go. You got it.
No, but that, I mean that's great. I think we agree that should happen, and I'm glad soccer or football is important to people.
Yes, football.
Football is important to people.
Football.
I just can't.
People who are watching on the Facebook Live can see my wonderful
right?
jersey signed by Pelé, the best soccer player of all time from Brazil.
The worst part about it is I love two things with soccer. I love soccer respect videos on YouTube, where like great soccer players that they strip them for their stuff because they respect them so much.
Yeah.
And I love soccer fakes where they like fall and they're like trying to get the referee to sell the referee. Those I'll watch for hours. Actual soccer games? No, sorry, can't.
Yeah. I understand. I hear you. I mean, you're wrong, but it's fine. You just gotta watch some high quality soccer, man. That's why I don't even watch MLS anymore. I watch British Premier League, and it's just so good compared to.
I'm perfectly fine with you just telling me how great it is, and just kind of giving me the highlights, and I'll just live through you vicariously.
That sounds good. Well, moving right along in other news, Norm, a very interesting article that I read from the Chicago Tribune about another local Chicago firm called Fairlife. Now, for those of you Chicagoans out there, you may have seen Fairlife on your shelves in your local grocery market, like your Jewels or your Tony's or your Pete's. And very interestingly, all of those grocery markets have pulled Fairlife from those shelves. Yeah. And why is that, Norm?
Why is that?
Thank you for asking.
No problem.
Per my prompting you to ask me.
That's what
yes, Fairlife is under attack from activists.
Yeah.
Because there's an organization called the Animal Recovery Mission, which is a non-profit organization based in Miami that basically sends people out to find organizations and farms and stuff that are doing animal abuse. And they found that one of the suppliers of Fairlife, a farm in Indiana called Fair Oaks Farms, they found workers there basically torturing calves.
Whoa.
And this Fair Oaks Farms constitutes, according to Fairlife, only 5% of their total milk supply. They have about 30 total suppliers. This is just one of the 30. Nevertheless, it's caught Fairlife in quite a bit of trouble, as well as the farm. And there's all kinds of misdemeanor and felony animal abuse litigation that's going to be filed against them, and they're going to probably be in court for quite a little while and could suffer shutdowns and all kinds of issues. There are 3 workers from the farm that were arrested for being on these videos that were captured. So it's not good for an organization and a local Chicago company that was saying, hey, go to our farms and see how well, I mean, that's kind of their whole motto, is how well they treat the cows and the calves that produce their milk for the product that you intake. And apparently it's all a fucking sham. They even, there's like literally a tour, and they're like, it doesn't really show the actual behind the scenes. It shows them like getting massages and shit. Like that's all.
What? Really?
It's all a sham.
Really?
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, okay, come and see the tour. Like, look, we really care about Stewart.
It's like
here.
Kobe beef. They slather them in gold and oils and massage the cows.
They really do.
Yeah. They do actually do that
really
for Kobe beef.
Yeah, no, it's great.
But this Fairlife organization is a big sham.
Damn. Well, they're getting what they deserved in it. They were fake the entire time.
I think Fairlife, the biggest organization will probably take a hit is this Fair Oaks Farms. They're probably going to be the ones. Yeah. Fairlife as an organization, since they have other suppliers, will probably just go, oh, well, we're not using them anymore, and
Yeah.
then they'll probably save their
Yeah.
own skin. But yeah, I mean, all their products have been pulled.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to
Yeah.
affect their bottom line for quite a while. And they're partnered with Coca-Cola as one of their main distributors. So Coca-Cola is also investing, so they could lose their distribution through Coca-Cola, which is a large distribution company in addition to just making, Coke. So, and not like the Coke. We know Coke.
Okay,
Right,
we know
all right.
Coke, right?
I said that was
We
such
know
a
Coke.
cheap joke.
Coca-Cola.
Jeez.
But my thing is, like, I could tell, like, Coca-Cola is only going to drop Fairlife if it starts affecting their business.
Correct.
And then Fairlife is going to drop this. Well, I mean, I guess it's a small farm considered to the whole overall scheme of things.
Yes.
They'll drop this small farm like a quick fucking habit. I think they've already started working towards it. In my opinion, like behind the scenes, they're like, we're getting ready to get rid of you. There's no coming back from this because even if you had we've gotten rid of those guys and now we've brought in people who really care, they let that happen under their house. So they're gonna be like, no, fuck you. We're going with the other guys we have, and we're gonna move the fuck on.
That's correct.
And Coke's like, you better fix your shit.
That's basically the power Coke has. Otherwise, y'all are fucked.
Fix your shit now,
That's right.
or you'll be selling your shit on the sidewalk.
That's right. And just like one of their cows on one of those farms that supply the milk that we as consumers drink, taking a shit, it all rolls downhill. So the lowest people on the totem pole will be the scapegoats.
They will get fucked, yeah.
Surprisingly, no goat shit. It's all
No,
cow
so-
shit. No goats. No goats were harmed. Only calves.
Are we even drinking milk anymore?
I drink milk.
But as a general whole, like, we have so many milk options now.
General milk consumption has gone down as a whole.
Because
But
it's so expensive now.
There is some expense to it, yes.
And
people
now-
are using alternative milk sources.
Also, because people are finding out that the lactose in milk is really fucking with them. It makes them gassy and shit like that.
So
they're coming out with other milk options.
Like almond milk. Who knew you could milk an almond?
Oats. You can milk the shit out of oats.
Milking oats.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Gotta love them.
Yeah.
I love watching somebody
A good
just milk one of those oat udders.
Okay.
God, it's so
This is a full-grown almond. Okay.
Really seeing them really gently protrude the almond just to get out that little. It's one drop at a time. It's an arduous process.
It's an art.
Yeah, it's an art form that they could get a whole. It takes literally 5 years to get one carton.
They really do have to care for their almonds.
They do. They
don't beat their almonds.
They sing them sweet lullabies, and they take a whole bushel and they caress them to sleep.
Some almonds may get crushed.
Yeah, that's right. It's an arduous. There's casualties along the way.
There are.
It's like a war, but you know what? We all benefit from it.
But no, they get
we're testing
what
mice.
they get what they fucking deserve.
That's right. Yeah.
Don't be baby cats.
We will try and stay on top of this. This just broke recently. We will follow. This will definitely be a follow-up story, but I found that quite interesting. Norm, moving right along in Otter News, let's take a couple minutes to talk about this last topic before we get to the Jagoff of the week. So there was a story I read in the Tribune that was saying that 60% of male, that is individuals who identify as a man.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do that PC thing. Mm-hmm. So male managers are afraid to interact or mentor some of their female subordinates, and this is according to an organization called leanin.org, and they say that 60% of male managers don't want to mentor female subordinates and employees because they're afraid of the whole backlash of the hashtag #MeToo. Mm-hmm. And women are complaining, saying, well, hey, wait a minute, I want to get some mentorship so I can move up in this company, and now, there's less hirings, all kinds of things. And they're saying, well, is this a male backlash of the Me Too movement? I submit it somewhat is. I think there are definitely a lot of men now who are afraid to, there's a lot of, and I've witnessed things personally at companies where men were just saying gross things. Mm-hmm. In front of female coworkers that I never was a fan of, but of course they were not harassing the women in any way. They were just being gross idiots. Yeah, is really what it was. And now, one of the biggest places that people used to meet their spouse was at work, and now that has dropped dramatically because particularly men are afraid of even approaching women. Hell, Google has a policy that states that you can only talk to somebody or ask somebody out twice, even if it's like for a group gathering. And if the woman declines 2 times, you cannot ask them out a 3rd time, or you can be terminated from your position at Google. So, things are very strict now, and I think men are definitely afraid that. If some women are very, very attractive, and they come into work with very intricate clothing, high heels, things like that. We're all a bunch of pigs, Norm, is what I'm trying to say. I think men are afraid of that.
I'm gonna ask this
which
question.
Is sad, but it is.
What are you afraid of? Like, what as a male, you shouldn't be afraid of anything, because if you haven't aggressively or even put in the air of any type of sexual or interest or even physical anything to other than mentoring this individual, there should be no fear. There should be no fear whatsoever, because you've accepted to say, hey, listen, we are business partners. We are business. Together we're working in this business. I want to make sure that you come up in this world by gifting you this information, this knowledge that I have. So there should be no fear. The only thing you can be afraid of is if you attempt the part that's wrong.
I think that is the main contention, is that these male managers if they take a woman under their wing, they're going to be in close proximity.
Uh-huh.
They're going to be doing a lot of one-on-one personal time.
Yes.
And if, again, men are pigs.
Yes.
And we're biologically preordained to try and fuck anything that moves for the most part. I think some male managers are afraid that enough time passing could cultivate feelings that could be mutual or could be one-sided, and mistakes could end up happening, or things could be misconstrued in platonic ways, and then that could end up screwing over their careers.
I don't think so, though.
Here's
my thing.
I'm just providing what I believe to be an explanation. Yeah. I'm not saying it is neither here nor there correct. Yeah. Just trying to put myself in their minds and put myself in the minds of the females, and I understand the females' perspective as well. They just want to make more money and move up in the organization. And that has been an issue for women where they've been saying, and I get that. That's not good either.
No, because I think in the sense of because the whole purpose of it is if they need a mentor to bring them up so that there are more female mentors for other females to be mentored by, this is the way to do that.
You know what you need? You just need a hard-ass bitch is what you need. Just be like, listen, motherfucker, don't be touching me, okay? Just give me a spreadsheet. Tell me what the spreadsheet means. And you know what? We'll do. You could do it via Skype. There's plenty of ways where you don't have to be in the same room.
Exactly.
What do you think is gonna happen? Come into my office. Let's get closer. If you put yourself in those situations,
But I mean, But that should also be the male mentor's view of hey, listen, I'm going to be over here, and I'm not going to get anywhere close to you, so that we never have that issue. I'm focused on you and making sure everything works out for you. But
it should be that simple.
It really should.
It should be.
Because I want to get you money and get you the fuck out of here. So that way, when you make it big, you point back at me, and I'm hopefully retired somewhere.
I've worked with many female coworkers and have had very nice platonic relationships with them. No problems. Of course, I was never a manager, but even then, I've had really good managers who treated female coworkers with a lot of respect. I just, I don't get why it is such a big deal. I think just a lot of men are just afraid they're not going to be able to control their inhibitions, which is sad.
And how much of that is I'm not going to say legitimate. I'm going to more say how much of that is a true representation of every office. I mean, there's tons of offices.
Right.
There are tons of jobs.
This could be a very small sample size for all.
It really could be. I'm not saying there isn't an issue that we need to fucking fix, but this could there's definitely a ton of male and female managers out there who are mentoring male and female individuals and helping them grow in companies.
Yes.
Without any problems. And then there's people who are touching people for no good reason.
It's probably the men who are afraid that they're definitely going to touch somebody.
Yes.
That are like, I don't want to deal with this.
Why are you in a straitjacket? I just want to make sure that we're all clear here.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do anything wrong.
Why did you put in glass paneling in your office?
Now press the enter button.
Why is this like a prison? We're talking over 2 phones with a glass plate. Well, I just like to be safe versus sorry. This is bizarre.
I just want to let you know I'm with you.
I'm with you, but I'm not with you. Yeah. Let's get these things. Anyway, I think it's a little silly and ridiculous, but such as it is, that's what the data shows. Of course, I'm not entirely certain how comprehensive this leanin.org did of a survey and study, but nevertheless, I do think it is a thing. I mean, even Tony Robbins was quoted as saying that he knows a lot of male owners and stuff who are not hiring females based on this whole thing. Because and I can understand from like an owner's perspective, maybe it's not just them who are worried about it, but they're worried that hiring a female could potentially, and knowing like other men, it could be a situation. I mean, hiring sucks in general. It's all a crapshoot, just like dating, right? But at the end of the day, it's like you can't. If someone's qualified, whether it be a male or female, you should consider them for the position. End of story. And pay them accordingly.
And don't worry about
as it should be. And at some point, it's all a risk. So if it happens, you got to deal with it.
Yes.
But and it's not always. Sometimes it's definitely the man's fault. Sometimes I know some females who have coerced men into doing things for them in a work office environment in order to get ahead, which is kind of silly. I don't know why you would. I mean, I get why women feel like they need to do that.
I get why anyone would do it.
I totally get it, and it's like I mean, hopefully we can get to the point where none of that needs to happen.
I think it will always happen.
But we've only been really working with like men and women have only been really in the workplace together for like what 50 years, 60 years max, like since the 50s really. Yeah. So we're really kind of still new at this. And we don't know what the hell we're doing. I don't even know. Like every company has their own separate policy guidelines of what is sexual harassment versus what isn't. It's like there's no, there's no line. The lines are they're all over the place.
Don't fucking touch people until they tell you to touch them.
That would be a good. I think that'd be a good place to start.
That's the rule.
I think that's a good place to start. Yeah.
I think that's the big rule, and then I think you're good from there.
Yeah, I think that's generally a good place to start, and then we can build on top.
Once they're like, touch me, I think you guys are okay.
Yeah. if she goes, wow, you're hot. Let's go back to your place and bone. I think then maybe you're okay. But maybe have a document with some signatures and treat it like a business at that point.
Hey, so before we start this, can you sign here, and here?
There's a company that does that, by the way. So very interesting.
What
you got to do. Anyway, I thought that was an interesting thing to discuss. And women, please don't be discouraged. Continue striving for positions and the best. And
so that way you can mentor
if
other
there
women.
are, yes, you can mentor
and men.
And and men as well. But also, if you do encounter a shitty ass manager, call them out.
Do it.
There's nothing wrong with the hashtag #MeToo. I'm okay with it. We just got to know that there are bad people on all sides.
Don't do that. Someone already wrote that, and you can't use that anymore. Because there are bad people on both sides, and it sucks because now we can't fucking use it anymore. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot, Trump. Anyway, interesting conversation. Yeah. Women, we pray for you. We wish you all the best, and we hope that number goes down over the next few years. So women are getting more opportunities. If they want to be managers, I think they should. I knew one woman at one of my companies that I worked at. She was a tough-ass bitch. And she finally made it as a manager, and I say good for her. Yeah. Because men are intimidated by a hard-ass bitch like that lady was, and she did a good job. So, women deserve the opportunities for that. I also know some women who became managers who did not deserve it. And they were just nowhere to fill a quota. But nevertheless, there are a lot of very, very good managers who are women out there, and I know some women. I hope they continue to strive to move forward. So, fantastic. Well, Norm, that concludes pretty much all of the main stories. You know what time it is now? Our favorite time of the episode. It's time for the Jagoff of the Week! And we have such a great Jagoff, Norm.
He's been waiting to do this fucking joke all day.
I'm so excited for this. So, our beloved The Bears have been doing a competition for the next kicker because that a-hole Party Parky with Mr. Senior Double Doink, okay? He double doinked and lost us the ability to go on to try and win a Super Bowl last year. And fuck that guy, okay? And now we had a good old round robin competition. We had about 9 kickers going on down kicking. They're all kicking field goals is what they're doing. And 3 were left. We made it through the final 3. And one of them is, now we're now down to the double deuce. We only got 2 left. And you know what? It's because there's this one guy. His name is Chris Blewitt. And, well, how else can I say it? He blew it! He freaking blew it! And he got cut because he blew it! He blew it! Ah, Chris, with a name like Blewitt, how would we have expected you to not get cut, you big Jagoff? Couldn't hit a 40-yard field goal. 40-yard field goal! Playoffs! Playoffs! Not with Chris Blewitt, because he's going to blow it! And that's why they cut him, the Bears. Matt Nagy's very frustrated. I'm not feeling too good about our kicking options, but at least they got rid of it. Can you imagine if the Bears went into the season with a kicker named Chris Blewitt?
And the first
time,
my
God,
the first time he fucked up,
it would be horrific.
I guess he blew it.
Oh my God, there would be so many sexually bad jokes about him. You know, there'd be, let's say, phallic objects being photoshopped near his mouth. Yeah. And, yeah. So, Chris, I think it's probably best that you did blow it.
Yeah.
You blew it big time. And we're all happy for it because I definitely don't want to kick around my roster named Blewitt. How would that even, that should be like a disqualification. What's your name? Chris Blewitt.
If his last name was Blewitt and he made every single one.
Yeah.
Then that would probably be like motivation.
Chris Blewitt is up to kick and he's never blown it.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not gay.
Like never blown. Like
yeah. Like never blown it despite his last name.
Like so, I think that could have been a superpower for him.
Yeah,
but
could have
it
been,
didn't work out that way.
No, it didn't. He just
he blew it.
He lived up to his name and he blew it.
And he blew it.
And he blew it. So just don't blow it in other aspects of your life unless you float that way, Blewitt. Gosh, it's such an easy.
You can blow it if you want to.
You blow it if you want, Blewitt. You've already blown it.
You do you.
Yes,
but you're not on the Bears.
But you're not on the Bears.
You're not on the Bears.
Thank goodness. Because you're a Jagoff! And make field goals, for God's sakes. Just not on the Bears. Because we don't want that.
It's got to be really hard to, be chosen and then fuck up. To have, your career ahead of you, to make that type of money. Yeah. And then...
And then you blow it.
Yeah,
like your last name, because you blew it.
All you do is kick.
Yeah. I don't get it, but whatever, because he blew it. So there it is. How many more times can we do this show?
I can't say I can't say that I wouldn't blow it only because I'm not a kicker. So
and your last name isn't Chris Blewitt.
No, it's not Blewitt.
Because he blew it.
Because he blew it.
Yeah. Well, that's because you're a Jagoff guy, and best of luck to you, and also maybe change your last name. Okay, so Norm. That was the podcast. And before we end, I just want to say, if you liked what you listened to, please make sure to go and like and follow us on our Facebook page at Chicago 60, SIXTY, 60 spelled out at Chicago 60. You can find us there on Facebook. You can also go to YouTube and just type in Chicago 60, and you will find us. And hit the subscribe notification button and watch us there. You can also go to Instagram and find us at Chicago_60, 60, the numbers, Chicago_60, and you can find us on Instagram. And you can interact with us there and watch us there and do stuff there. Or you can, go to iTunes, because this is going to be on iTunes tomorrow. And you can listen to it again, because we're so awesome, Norm and I. So go to iTunes and please subscribe there and leave us a review. 5 stars, ideally. Don't leave 1 star, that hurts us. Help us, because that's what we need from you. Because one time we also really would like to get on a boat. Please help Norm. Right, Norm? We need to get on a boat.
So, in honor of Father's Day, which it is today,
right?
Which we didn't say Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day. John J. Ward, my dad. Happy Father's Day.
I'm not going to list off all of my father figures because that'd be a long list. So we're going to ignore that. But I'd love to get on a boat. We would love to get on a boat. We have a couple of friends who would all love to get on a boat. And I'm not talking about a small dinghy. I'm not talking about something that you row. I'm talking about something that has a machine in it where you have a big steering wheel and you drive it around a lake. I want to be on a boat. We want to get thank you, that's the fancy word for it. I call it a big boat.
Big old boat.
We're going to have a champagne bottle. We're going to break open that champagne bottle
inside that champagne bottle. Shaped like the boat.
Your little boat with your name on it. Us on that boat with another small tiny champagne bottle with also a mini boat in there, and it keeps going on and on and on until the break of dawn. And if anyone out there in the universe has just a boat, we would love to be on.
Follow us on all those platforms and message us about the boat.
That'd be awesome.
And if you don't follow us on all those things, you're going to miss out on a lot of content because there's going to be some stuff we only release on YouTube. There's going to be some you could just listen to the podcast, but you're going to miss all the stuff on YouTube that we're coming out. We're writing some sketch comedy stuff about Chicago. That's coming out very soon in the summer. You're going to miss it if you're not subscribed to YouTube. We're going to have a lot of cool photos and small videos that are different on Instagram. And if you're not following us on Instagram, you're going to miss it.
You're going to miss it.
We're going to have special messages and competitions just on the Instagram. It's coming soon. You're going to miss it.
You're going to miss it.
If you're not on there. And if you're not on Facebook, you'll miss all of it. Because it all goes to Facebook. Which sucks because fuck Facebook. But I mean, you were on there. And you're going to miss it. So you got to follow us everywhere. You know? Support us, please, because we're bringing you the best news about our favorite city, Chicago. So go and do that right now.
Right now.
Fantastic. Well, Norm, one last time, Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
To all the fathers out there, especially Chicago fathers, you best motherfuckers. You are motherfuckers because you're dads. You fucked a mom and then you had kids. So that's why you're a dad. You motherfuckers.
Why did you have children?
Yeah, well then they wouldn't be a dad.
I know, true.
So good job you motherfuckers.
Good job you.
You dads out there, you wonderful dads in Chicago. And all dads everywhere, but especially in Chicago.
But especially
the great ass city in the world.
Dads.
Alright, well Norm, with that, we have to now end with our favorite phrase of all time. And that is Bear down and fuck the Packers! See you next week, folks.
Good night, everyone.
And then we stare at the Facebook Live while we continue.
It never ends.
Thanks, thanks Ron and thanks Patty for watching. We appreciate you.
We see you.
We'll shout you out next time.
Definitely will.
Bring some friends next time, by the way. But iTunes, the show will be on iTunes tomorrow. See you then, guys.